friends, it is day 26 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge, and today we are pressure canning ground beef. Our local grocery store had those huge rolls of ground beef on sale for pretty cheap. I say pretty cheap now as opposed to before. But we're gonna take the opportunity to save some back. And a lot of times I will put it in 1 pound packages and I will freeze it. However, it's always great to have it on the pantry shelf as well. There are a lot of different benefits to this. A, if the power goes out and the food in your freezer goes bad, ground beef sitting in a can on your shelf is not gonna go bad. Or even if it doesn't go bad and the power's out for a little while and you don't want to open that freezer, then you can just pull it off the shelf and you can keep that freezer shut so it cools longer. The other really big reason to have ground beef on your shelf is because, I don't know about you, but there are a lot of days where I get to the end of the day and I think, dinner! Oh no, it's an hour away. And it's too late to really effectively pull something out of the freezer. You can, but it doesn't taste great because if you pull meat out of the freezer, it doesn't cook evenly and there's all sorts of fun issues. But if I have a can of cooked ground beef sitting on a shelf in my pantry, I can pull it out, dump it in whatever I'm cooking, and whip it up super duper fast. So that is what we are going to do today. We're going to learn a new way, or some of you have already done this, so an old way, to preserve some ground beef. Now, I have 15 pounds of ground beef. You don't have to do that much at a time. You can do it 1 jar at a time. That's totally fine. I'm actually cutting this in half and only gonna can half of this today because tomorrow we're going to be canning chili. The first thing we want to do with ground beef, this seems like a no-brainer, is to cook it. Since I have so much, I'm gonna use my big Nesco roaster and I'm gonna turn it kind of on medium-ish. All I wanna do is brown this. Now, a lot of times, like when Lance pressure cooked the fish a couple of weeks ago, you don't have to cook meat because the pressure canner is cooking it as you're sealing that jar. However, with ground beef, you really do want to cook it first because especially these rolls have so much fat in them. Fat can really hinder the seal of your jar. So anything that's super fatty, you want to make sure that you're cooking it first and kind of removing some of the fat so that your jar seals really well. So we are just going to brown this ground beef and I will see you back when it's all browned and ready to go. One of our super sweet viewers sent us this little beef chopper and it has been wonderful for ground beef. So we are so thankful, whoever you are that sent that. All right, all of our ground beef is browned. And like I said, I'm gonna cut this in half because tomorrow I'm gonna be making chili and canning chili. But today we're gonna do ground beef. So we'll see how much half will fill. And what we're gonna do is put it in these nice, clean, sterile jars, these warm jars, and we're gonna leave an inch of headspace. Now, headspace is the distance between the material in your jar and the top rim of the jar. So we wanna leave about an inch. I have this nifty measurer, but you can use just a regular old ruler or anything to measure. So the first thing we're gonna do is put beef in. Now, you are more than welcome to season this beef. You can do whatever you want with it, but we're gonna leave it plain because I don't know what I'm gonna put it in. And so I don't like to season it beforehand because you never know. But you can put salt in it, you can put pepper, you can put whatever you normally season ground beef with, go for it. All right, so let's fill these jars up and see how much half will fill. And remember, I'm gonna leave that inch of headspace here. I should note that we've already drained this all, but I am gonna use this little strainer to scoop because I just wanna make sure if I scoop up some grease that's left over that it kind of drips out. Because like I said before, you don't want a lot of grease in here, otherwise sometimes that comes in the way of the seal. All right, now we have 4 jars with about an inch of headspace. The next thing we want to do is take boiling water and fill in the cracks. Now, we're going to still leave that inch of headspace, and the easiest way that I've found to do this is just a kettle, but you can boil a whole pot. Just fill those up to an inch. All right, now that we have our inch of headspace, we've got an inch of beef, we've got the rest filled up with water, we want to just poke something down in here and make sure we've got all the air bubbles out, and then remeasure. And sometimes you'll need to fill a little bit more in once you do that. And that's just fine. Now, before I seal these jars up, I want to make sure that there's no grease that's on the lip of this jar that could come in contact with that lid and cause problems sealing. So I'm going to take some vinegar and put it on a paper towel, and I'm going to clean that lip with vinegar just to make extra sure I get a really good seal. Now that my jars are nice and clean, I'm going to seal them with a new sterilized lid and a super clean ring. We're going to put the lid on, and we're going to twist this finger tight and then just a quarter of a turn more, because if I seal it too tightly and really wrench down on it, that could cause the edges to kind of pop up a little bit and distort, and sometimes they don't seal. So I want to make sure I'm not wrenching down on it tight, but finger tight and then just a quarter of a turn more. Now it's time to put these in the pressure canner. So let's talk a little bit about pressure canning in general. First of all, you want to make sure you're familiar with your pressure canner and the rules for your pressure canner. You want to put a little bit of water in here, and we want them to be in warm water because these are hot. We don't want to put them in cold water because the jars could crack. So I already have about 3 inches of warm water in here. You want to make sure you read the instructions for your pressure canner, but you do not want water over the top like you do in a water bath can. And there is a trivet on the bottom. And so I'm just going to set these down in. Now this is an all-American canner, and I love it. It really is a workhorse, and it is sturdy, sturdy, sturdy. So the first thing I'm going to do before I close this and seal it up, I'm going to take this lid and I am going to look through the vent hole and make sure I can see light through it and make sure it's not plugged, because this is where the air is going to escape and this is where the pressure buildup escapes. So I want to always make sure that's clear, and if it's not, take care of it. Some canners have rubber gaskets and things. The All-American does not. It is metal, touching metal. And so when we use this canner each time, we are going to lubricate it with olive oil. This helps the seal, and it also helps it go on smoother. And I'm just going to take a little bit of olive oil and rub it around the rim. And this pressure canner, there's a divot right here, and there's a little arrow, and those line up. And we're going to just going to set it on, and then we twist it to lock it in place. Then, kind of like a car wheel, when you're putting on a tire, you're going to do opposite ends. You're going to pull these little dealies up and get it just finger tight, opposite of each other. And that's so it doesn't kind of tilt itself up as you're tightening. And then opposites again. Tighten those down. And opposites again, and finger tight. Now that I've done all the opposites, now I can go around and tighten them tighter. And it's sealed and ready to go on the stove. So the next steps are fairly simple. Ground beef has a pressure canning time for a pint of 75 minutes. So since I have quarts in here, my processing time is 95 minutes. So I'm gonna put this on the stove and set it to boil. Once it gets hot enough to boil, it will start shooting steam out of this little compartment right here. And at that point, I'm gonna set the timer for 15 minutes and let it vent for 15 minutes. Then once it is vented for 15 minutes, I'm going to take my pressure weight and I'm gonna put the pressure weight on. And at that point, once the pressure weight starts jiggling, that's when I start my timer for 95 minutes. Now, some of the pressure canners have this weight that you put on. Some of them have a separate little thing. They're all different, but this All-American canner has a weight, and it has 5, 10, 15. For my altitude, we pressure can at 10. You want to make sure for your altitude, if you're higher than 1,000 feet sea level, I believe, you have to increase. So check your altitude. There's plenty of charts online where you can check that and see what pressure you can at. Once I have that on there and I'm timing, it'll start jiggling. And like I said, once it starts jiggling, that's when you start your 95-minute timer. Ideally, you want to keep regulating the temperature until you get about 4 jiggles per minute. Okay, and once you get about 4 jiggles per minute, you're going to be right at that pressure. If you just let it jiggle, 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 it's going to be a little higher pressurized. And I have a gauge on here so you can see that it'll be, if it's consistently jiggling, it'll probably be 12 or 13 pressure. But we want to keep it right around 10. So you lower that temperature and you try to get it right in that range where you have about 4 per minute. Once this has been going for 95 minutes, then I'm going to turn the stove off, but I'm going to leave it in place and not touch it until the pressure goes down to 0. At that point, I can take the weight off, I can open it up, and then I want to let it set for a little bit longer with the canner open, usually about 15 minutes, just like you would in water bath canning, so that you're not pulling the jars straight out and getting that siphoning. But once all that is done, we will see you back here. All right, we are all done. We've had this processing for an hour and a half. Then we went ahead and let it depressurize and pulled the lid off of it. And here we have our beautiful jars of canned ground beef ready to go in our pantry. Now, I will check these in the morning and make sure they sealed, and if they didn't seal, I have time to get them in the fridge, but they'll likely seal. I haven't really actually had trouble getting ground beef to seal, but I know some people do because of the grease, but as long as you drain the grease and really clean those lids, I really haven't had trouble. That's one more day down in our Every Bit Counts challenge, just a few more to go. Be sure to tune in for the next few days and we will be canning some super fun things to finish up our challenge. If you missed any of the videos in our series, be sure to check out the link for the entire playlist of the Every Bit Counts challenge. We are so thankful that you've joined us. Have a wonderful evening. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before I put the lid on is I'm going to hold it up to the light and look through this vent hole and make sure I can see light through it. And I can, because if this is plugged, that's very dangerous. Yes.
Do that again and do it to the side instead of covering the face.
So the first thing I'm going to do